Okay everyone, as you've already figured out, this is my Phalaenopsis video. And I'm primarily going to be talking about species, the ones that I have in my collection, obviously, as opposed to the ones that are in this species book. But I will try to go over this book as well, the ones that are in here, but I have a few more species that are not in this book. So, what I'm going to do is first, I know I've talked about it in recent videos, but everyone still has questions about it, and so I'm going to get it all out of the way right now. So, now you know, a lot of plants these days are coming in those plastic, flimsy cups like this, even bigger size like that. That's not one. And they're usually planted in sphagnum moss. There's one. I have a few. Now, I've been telling people, you see how I have these? Well, this has been repotted, so let's not focus on this one, but let's look at this one. And this one. This is a larger pot. It is sitting inside a vase, and it has a reservoir of water in there. And as I have been telling people, the roots, this is like water culture. Basically, this is hydroponics, because what you're doing is the water that collects down there is being wicked up again by the roots, and the roots will only wick up as much as they want. So when they are getting enough from the bottom, because you know, if you plant a tree, the roots will go down, or any kind of seed, they go down to look for the water source. Same with this, same with orchids. They're searching for the water source, especially if they're contained. You know, naturally, you know, their instinct says to go down. So they're all gathered towards the bottom if you look at those pots. And I suppose I can look at one, see how they're all gathered at the bottom. And let's look at this one. Somewhat gathered all, yeah, you can see them all gathered at the bottom. That is what I'm trying to explain to you. And that is how you should water those plants. Not repot them immediately. Put them in a tight container, because you're gonna need, you don't want something that's super huge. You want something that's really tight fitting. Preferably, the best thing is a glass, shot glass or because you can see how the roots are at the bottom. And that, when the water is gone, that's when you water again. Same principle as water culture. So when these plants, especially species, when the spikes either get brown, or you'll know when it's time for the media to be repotted. But if the plant is still in growth, if it is still, if the inflorescence are still green and not brown like in this, but still green, still producing flowers, still green, then leave it in that. If it's growing, why remove it? Why remove it? Because number one, you're not gonna get your money back if it dies, because they tell you not to repot it for at least 3 months, 3 to 6 months, I believe. And in that time, you're supposed to be acclimating it to your environment anyway. So, and the principle of this whole, not necessarily my technique, but why they say to leave it in that media or however it comes, is because they've been on a boat or on a plane or, you know, in Taiwan, from Taiwan for a long period of time. And so just like when you get something from Ecuador or any other kind of an import, you have to give it a little bit of a time to get acclimated. And so you don't want to immediately just take it, rip it apart from where it came from initially and just destroy it and stress it out even further. The plant, I believe, in those circumstances will sulk, or it will die, or it will just take you years in order for it to get back to blooming size, and you don't want that. You want plants that are healthy. And so that's really just the basic principle. Just follow the basic hydroponic principle, where plant tells you what it wants. You know, you will know when to repot it. I mean, this is one right here that has not left the original container. I'm still getting roots. I'm still getting plenty of leaves and new roots. And there's that little reservoir. Why? Why? There's no reason to. It's still growing. Same with this. But anywho, let's get on with the species. We will start with the type species, which is Amabilis, native to Guinea. Likes higher light levels. Should be, well, it says should be going into medium lights. Slight reddish color to the leaves. My Amabilis is right here. This is I think it's the Saba variety. I can't read that. Imam Java. But it has just been recently repotted, and so it's soaking a little bit. It had been in my care for probably 2 years, and it was time. Flowers all came off, and you see the one of the spikes is starting to brown at the end. That's Amabilis. I will, well, there's pictures, I'm sure, of Amabilis in here somewhere. If not, I will put pictures of mine. Amboyensis, right there, very fragrant. Native to Sulawesi. Star-shaped flowers, brown markings. Main stem producing yellow hybrids. So I don't have a blooming, well, this one is Amboyensis, and it is got a spike, but it's never bloomed. So that's my Amboyensis. Then I'll move on to Aphrodite. I don't have that. Corningana is one of my favorites. Related to Sumatrana. Greenish white center bearing of runs, barring that runs, you know, perpendicular to the length. Difficult to maintain in cultivation, and I would say that it is. Now, where is Corningana? Surely they have a picture of Corningana. But if not, I will have a picture of Corningana. I have two Corninganas. One of my Corninganas is right here, and it does have a spike. There may be another. That's just the only spike. And I know I have another Corningana, perhaps up here, or Corningana. Well, anyway, maybe I don't have another Corningana, but I think I do. What's this? I think this is, oh, that's a hybrid. Anyway, I already showed you one of my Amboyensis, and it is hot in here, so I'm just going to get on going. The Corningana is what I'm talking about, but I will definitely put a picture of that, because there is a Corningana out there that I really want, that I had and I lost it, and it has a fragrance to it, really nice striped flower. Then we're going to go on to Cornocervi, and you know, Cornocervi is from Borneo. Distinctive because of the fleshy flattened inflorescence, and inflorescence should be left, of course, because they can produce more blooms or kikis. Now, of course, you know, if you've been watching my videos, here are my Cornocervis, and I do keep them moist, although they usually do not bloom as well as they have this year. They usually only start blooming late in the season and bloom towards through the winter, sometimes early spring, but then they take a little break, like most of these kinds of ever-blooming phals do. They don't just bloom forever. But this year, it really did. So I can't hate on it. This down here is the species, and like I said, there are various varieties and hybrids that I try to have. I am obsessed with Cornocervi. And I'll move on. Next one here is Equestris, which I don't have. Then there's Fasciata, which I do have. And there is a picture of Fasciata, although mine did not really look like that. It did have some veinings. It was fragrant. And here is my Fasciata. I did have a huge one, and then I had a smaller one that I got. And I have a kiki that has a kiki on it, and here's the main plant that did have some damage to the leaves, but this has bloomed, and the other one bloomed, and I will put pictures of it. All the same. Then I come to my Gigantea, which I will show you when I get outside. Then I have my Hieroglyphica. Hieroglyphica is one of my very favorite Phalaenopsis. I have two hieroglyphicus. One is outside actually, and here is my other hieroglyphica right here. Very faint, very similar to actually Sumatrana, that flower, except maybe a little bit more faint in the veins, not as strong. But speaking of Gigantea, I do have two Giganteas in here, but these are albas. My straight Gigantea is outside, which I would be happy to show you when I walk outside. Now, moving on from hieroglyphica, endemic to the Philippines. Hieroglyphica is a little bit temperamental for me, as far as they are finicky with the moisture, and as far as the temperature as well. They all want to be kept warm with a considerable amount of shade, although these hybrids, I'm talking about species, the species can take a little bit more sun than the typical low light Phalaenopsis. Moving on, Ludmaniana. I do not have a Ludmaniana. Don't have Maculata. I don't have a Manii, although I'd love to. Marii is my all-time favorite, besides Gigantea, but I do love Marii. Very fragrant flowers. Again, markings on them. Here's the flower, very bold, more red than that brown in there. That's something else, but very attractive flower. And my Marii plant is right here. As I was saying, as it approaches the cool season, it begins to elongate and start to show like it's gonna bloom. And that is my Marii with many, many spikes. And you can see that they have stayed green for me throughout the whole blooming season, which is great. Yay! Then we'll move on to Pukra, which is another one of my favorites that I just recently got. Endemic to the Philippines, is one of the number of species included in the Ludmaniana. Pukra has solid purple. I think it is fragrant, prone to produce kikis, produces relatively few flowers. And there is a Pukra, and this is a Pukra hybrid. And I have a little Pukra here somewhere. Well, if I can't find it here, yeah, here's my little Pukra, which is doing okay. And my big Pukra is over here. Right here, I got this at Equigenera earlier this year, and you can see it's putting out roots. And it is in that Phalaenopsis mix. And it likes that. And it is still has those two inflorescence on it. So I am hoping to see some blooms. Yes, that would be excellent. Okay, I don't have any of those. I do have Schilleriana. It's outside. I guess I can point that out when I go outside. But Schilleriana is fragrant, branching inflorescence as it ages. Known for its richly silver green mottled leaves. That's what it is known for. Similar to Philippines, of course. And Schilleriana is right there, but I don't have one. It's outside. And those are the Phalaenopsis that I have in the greenhouse. I believe those are my species. No, that's not all of my species. I have a Modesta here, which is a spotted, similar actually to these species down here, which I haven't mentioned, Zebrina. You know, these are all similar to Inscriptonensis, Hieroglyphica. Yeah, those species, they're all similar, as I was saying. And this is Sumatrana, which is another one that is similar, might be in that Ludmaniana group, that's got the nice rich stripes on it and the pink lip and some fragrance to it. Any other species? That's my Corningana. I've already gone over that. I don't have any Tetraspis. Now here's my Bastianii right here. Here is another fragrant species orchid that is similar to Marii. It has red barring, dark markings on the white flowers that are kind of cream colored, maybe with a little green in it, and these are not fragrant as Marii is fragrant. Now down here, I know I have one more species at least, and I would just say Phalaena is a species. And actually the Mybellina is here. No, this is the Violacea. That's Violacea. Bellina is right here. Species. Okay, I don't think I have any more species Phalaenopsis in here. So I'm gonna go outside and show you my Schilleriana and my Gigantea. And I'll be right back. All right, good morning. We're back outside looking at the other Phalaenopsis that I have, my species. And this is my Schilleriana. You can see that it's still in that plastic pot. Put up a spike that branched a little bit. The branch did not bloom. It's only bloom once a year, I believe. So that is that. And then the other Phalaenopsis species out here is none other than my Gigantea right here. And Giganteas love moisture year-round. And again, they are the same as I said the others. As long as they keep their spikes, they are capable of reblooming from those spikes, and they generally do. They usually bloom in the fall, winter, and they usually produce their spikes like the other species, where they're ever blooming, and as long as they're green, they will bloom. Gigantea has fragrant, long-lasting, but they are very slow to open, very shy. Gigantea, of course, is known for the size of the leaves. It is the largest Phalaenopsis of the species, and I love it to death. Would not be without it. It is a bucket list plant, and it is fragrant. And so those are the two Phalaenopsis that I have out here. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your orchids. Bye.